Hi there, this is Justin. In this video, I'm going to be covering the concept of the core funnel. The core funnel is a concept I've used for years with my clients to help simplify things. The issue that a lot of companies have is they overcomplicate their analytics. Especially in the early days, you don't really need to overcomplicate things. So I introduce the core funnel to my clients from day one and help them map the funnel, the core funnel, and start tracking its performance. So I've got here a Lucidchart diagram that I'm going to be using to explain this concept. So what we see over here in green is an example of the core funnel. Now, for most software companies, this would essentially be their core funnel in a nutshell. So step one would be sign up. Someone signs up to the service. Next, they're going to complete the onboarding process. This could be a form with a few different questions. Could be a more complex multi-step like wizard that gets them to connect their social accounts. But in most cases, it's usually a quick and painless process. Well, at least it should be. After that is the wow moment. This is really, really key. This is going to be the moment that the user experiences the value that your service provides. So, in the case of, like a calendar app would be when you create an event on the calendar and see that you can now, plan your day. If it's a fitness app, it might be when you load a video where you can, do a workout, etc. Every service has a wow moment in some form or another. Gmail could be when you send that first email. It's essentially when there's been value transfer between the app and the user. After that, typically SaaS businesses will have like a freemium model where someone could start a trial and use the service for a certain period of time. Upgrade from free to like a paid plan. After the trial ends, the next step is then that they actually pay you. And I like to add this, the final step is that they're paid again. So you might think, okay, they've paid, I'm good, that's the end of the funnel, but there's all kinds of ways to manipulate users to start trials. Some of them will end up paying you, but then the question is how many of them pay you again. Now, this might seem like a very simple funnel, and that's really the purpose, because if I'm an early stage company and I want to understand, if my business is really working, I want to understand this funnel. I don't need to look at anything else essentially, because if you have big drop-offs at any point in this funnel, you really got to go back to the drawing board. So let's look at an example of how you would kind of analyze this funnel and use it. So essentially what you would do is create a cohort type view where I'm going to take users which signed up and experienced the product for the first time in a given period of time. So in this case, we're taking, a single month, so say January, and we start looking at the conversion rate throughout the funnel. Okay, so we're going to start with 100 users, just as an example. They signed up in January. Out of those 190 completed onboarding. Out of those 90, 45 experienced the wow moment. Out of those, 40 started a trial, 37 paid, and out of 37, 20 paid again. So now we can actually start really understanding, a lot about this hypothetical business. So the first thing we notice is the drop-off between sign up and completed onboarding is quite small, only 10%, right? 100 to 90, 10% drop. But then we notice something here. Between the users that complete onboarding and experience the wow moment, there's a drop-off of 50%, right? So 45 is half of 90. Now, this is obviously a huge problem, because if only half of the users that complete onboarding are experiencing the wow moment, people are getting lost somewhere between this step and this step. Now, ideally, you want to have as few steps as possible between the user signing up and experiencing that wow moment. If you can even throw it inside the onboarding process to some extent, that's even better, right? Show them a video, give them a taste of what's to come, and get them prepped to use the product is a good way. But in a company like this, I would want to understand what are users doing, or what is preventing users after the completed onboarding to experience that wow moment. So could be an issue with navigation. Maybe you're throwing them into a new feature which isn't really that relevant, or just your user experience is really bad and users are just dropping out after completing the onboarding. What's also interesting to see is out of the users that experience the wow moment, many of them are starting a trial. So in this case, I would say, the wow moment's really powerful. We just have an issue with getting users to experience it. And then out of those that start a trial, most of them are paying, right? So they're happy with the value they're getting and they're willing to pay. But then what happens is we have a big drop off again. Say this is a monthly plan, so they pay us in month 1, but most of them are canceling before being able to pay us again. So the reason for this is the second big drop off that we see in the funnel. We would want to understand, perhaps the value between the free and the paid isn't very big, so users don't think they're getting a great bargain. Or there's just kind of a mismatch between what they're getting in the paid versus what they expected. So if I was, the founder of this startup, I would actually want to interview the users that dropped off and understand, why they didn't pay again. Yeah, so what I would recommend doing is, if you're an early stage company, take this, template and modify it a bit to your business. You might have 1 or 2 extra steps along the way, but for the most part, keep it simple. And then start tracking this. Mixpanel is a great tool to be able to do some of this. You can create funnel reports in Mixpanel. And then the whole idea is that as you improve the product, you re-evaluate the core funnel. So if now I notice my big drop-off is over here, you basically want to optimize the big drop-offs as early as possible in the funnel. So we're not going to bother dealing with this over here, this 37 to 20 drop-off. We're actually going to focus first here, because the more we have here, the more we'll have further down, right? So you want to plug the leaks that are as early as possible in the funnel. So let's just say now we make a bunch of product changes, and what we'll do then is reassess. So now, maybe in February we make some changes. So now we'll look at March's numbers, and let's just say we have the following. Right now we're at 60 over here, and 55, and here it's at 50, and over here 30, right? So now we can see, I'm obviously just making these numbers up, but the conversion rate you can see over here has improved, right? So we had a 50% drop, now we have a smaller drop. So the product changes we made improved. And since we didn't have issues in this piece of the core funnel, we expect the numbers to be good. But once again, we still have this issue down here, which we haven't addressed yet, and that's fine because that's not our plan. And then let's just say we do another round of iterations and we push hard. So our team does it in March, and now we're going to look at April's numbers. And now we're able to move this up to say 70, right? The rest of the numbers continue to be good, 65, say, and 60. But we still obviously have the drop off at the end. So now we can say, okay, you know what, we've done a good job moving the numbers. We've gone from a 50% drop to, like a 20% drop, 25% drop. It's not ideal, but we've made some good progress. And now maybe we shift our gears and we move down here. And this is what the product team should focus on. It's not even about adding to the product and you know, everyone wants to kind of add more, and then you have feature creep. And the idea is that, if you've got a 50% drop, users aren't even seeing the wow moment. There's not even a point adding stuff further down, right? Or already making this, too complicated, by adding additional bells and whistles. Just focus on getting the users through this funnel. Now, if you had a big drop off here, then maybe, users are coming in, they're experiencing the wow moment, but it's not enough to get them to start paying. And then you might just have product market fit issues where you build a product, you're able to get users through the funnel, to experience the value, but it's not valuable enough for them to actually pay you. So, this is a great way to keep the company focused, especially in the early days. Once you kind of see that enough's coming through and it's consistent, and you've got decent repeat payment rates, and you can say confidently that out of every 100 users we throw into the funnel, 10, 15, 20% of them are with us multiple periods, then you can kind of move on to really pushing on the growth. But until you've got a healthy core funnel, you can throw as much water into the bucket as you want. It's just gonna leak all the way out, and you're not gonna have much left at the end of the day. So that's the core funnel. Use it, focus on it, and then after you've got a healthy funnel, start shifting gears. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions on this concept, let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.